with 5 wins than it is with 4. Seems like an obvious statement. Maybe it doesn't mean much to you on December the 13th, but it means that there is still a path for the Tennessee Titans to make the playoffs. Welcome back to the show. Phone calls here in just a second. 615-737-1045 is the number. You won. I wouldn't say you're back. You're not even back in the hunt just yet, but you are at least on life support. Is it an EKG? Is that the machine that tracks your heart rate, or am I just making up terminology at this point? You have no idea. Neither do I, clearly. The thing that keeps track of your heart rate in a hospital, whatever that is, Titans have a pulse on one.
Titans are the last team listed in the on the bubble portion, the teams on the outside looking in if the season ended today, according to NFL.com.
So, the New York Times playoff machine is the most effective and efficient way for you to determine the percentage chance of your team's postseason odds.
Well, first, shall we get an idea of the playoff picture in the AFC?
Let's.
As it looks right now. Ravens are the 1 seed at 10-3. Dolphins are the 2 seed at 9-4. Chiefs the 3 at 8-5. Jags the 4. They lead the AFC South at 8-5. And then it goes Browns at 8-5, Steelers at 7-6, Colts at 7-6 as the last 3 current wild card spots. The Texans, Broncos, Bengals, and Bills are all on the outside looking in, also at 7-6. Tiebreakers seem inevitable in the AFC.
Isaiah Jackson on Facebook Live says, there is no path to the playoffs. Too many teams to jump. Not so fast. This is why the NFL is the great business model that it is, because even the Carolina Panthers are still mathematically alive for the postseason. At 1, and are they now 1-11? Is that the Carolina Panthers record on the season? Hideous. 1-12. I gave them credit for 1 less loss. Unfortunate. So now with the Titans at 5-8, still in the basement, but the only team in the AFC South that won a game this weekend. Lucas, what would you guess their percentage chance to make the postseason are right now heading into Week 15?
1.
No higher, no lower, just 1.
1%.
You are correct.
Am I really?
Yes. They have a 1% chance to make the postseason at 5-8. As things sit today, this is pre-Jags, pre-Texans, pre-Seahawks. You want to guess the Jags' percentage chance? As the division leader at 8-5, not having yet played the Ravens, but a huge game this weekend in the AFC.
They only have a game on the Texans and Colts. For the Jags, I'll go with a 64% chance.
91% chance. They have a 91% chance to make the
I'm
postseason.
surprised it's that high. Just because of the logjam that is if the Jags were to drop the next 2.
The Colts and the Texans are where your logjam exists. The Colts have a 44% chance to make the postseason. The Texans are at 35. That's just to make it. Divisionally, to win the division, Jags with 4 games left, 83%. Colts 10, Texans 7, Titans less than 1% to win the AFC South. But not dead. Not dead yet. So, all right, let's go through it. Let's go through it game by game, just on the Titan side of things, not all the other things that you would need to happen, because you're in essence, you're not dead, but your playoff fate is out of your own hands at 5-8. That's, I would think that would be common knowledge, but just to kind of reiterate, winning out does not guarantee your path to the postseason. So let's start with the Titans hosting the Texans this weekend. If the Titans beat the Texans, Lucas, what does their playoff percentage chance, just to make the postseason, what does it jump to from 1%?
2. Is it really?
No, incorrect. It's 1%.
Oh, it stays at 1.
It stays at 1%. Beating the Texans this weekend is not enough. So if they beat the Seahawks, not a conference opponent, there are some tiebreakers involved. If they beat the Seahawks, what does their percentage playoff chance go to?
This feels like a flawed exercise because of how much the other games would have to factor in.
Answer the question.
But I'll say 4.
2%.
Okay.
If they beat the Texans on the road, what is the percentage chance?
3.
7. And if they win out and at home at Nissan Stadium beat the Jacksonville Jaguars just to make the playoffs, what does their percentage chance jump to?
If they win out, I'll say 11.
17. The Tennessee Titans, if they were to win 4 straight games, 3 at home, 1 on the road, they would have a 17% chance just to be the wild card team, one of the wild card teams out of the AFC. So there's a million different things that have to happen as they sit here right now. They can make life hell on the Texans and the Jags as they try and jockey against one another. Jacksonville pulling ahead, even though they're only a game up on those two teams. Texans losing a game to the Colts hurts them. And, of course, the Titans getting swept by the Colts is the biggest thing, the biggest anchor that's hanging around their neck right now.
So are we going to say the Titans' path to the playoffs is, first of all, rooted in they have to win out?
They have to win out.
Right. Would just simply have to win out.
Yep.
And you would finish with a winning record. So if the Titans were to win out, what's the number one thing they would need to happen?
The number one thing that they would need to happen.
What's the most ideal scenario? If you're a Titans fan and you say, okay, if we win out, what's the next thing on the list?
They need the Browns. They need the Browns to crater as one of these wild card teams sitting behind the Ravens. And
well, no, I think you don't have to complicate it that way. You just need the rest of the division to crater.
You sure? Okay, sure.
So we'll just stay.
But I'm just talking about
there.
teams that seem firmly entrenched in that wild card spot, who are still technically jockeying for the division lead. The Browns are not dead in the AFC North as far as winning it is concerned, but the Ravens are in better position, obviously, with 4 games left to play. Browns, Bills, looking at the rest of the schedule, I mean, hell, you could stand a few more Chiefs losses, too. But yes, you would need to win out, and also the rest of the division to crater.
Let's say the Jags lose out.
Okay, I can do this. I can do this in real time. This is why the New York Times.
Give me that. Give me the Titans.
Okay, so Jags
out.
They are. Is it a home game? No, I'm sorry. They are. Yeah,
they host
are
Baltimore.
In Jacksonville.
They host Baltimore on Sunday. Yeah.
Okay, so if the Jags were to lose in Week 15, if the Jags were to lose, then to
give me a Jags loss and Titans win.
Okay, so I've got I'm going through it. I'm having to select these things in each week. So Jags have Ravens at the Buccaneers in Week 17. They are home for the Panthers.
Yeah, that takes a hit to your lose out hopes.
Yeah, but
and then they're here to finish the season.
They are here to finish the season, so I'm selecting all of the Jaguars' opponents, culminating with the Titans and the Texans. If the Jags lose out and if the Titans win out, you want to take a guess?
At the Titans' chance?
Chance to make the playoffs.
Does it go up to?
If it was 17% just on the Titans' merit alone.
I'll say it jumps to 45.
Jumps to 55.
Okay.
55% chance. Now, there are some tomato cans sitting there on the Jags schedule, including the worst team in football, the Carolina Panthers.
That would put you at an even record as the Jags, 9-8, excuse me, and then you'd get into tiebreakers.
AJ Parkinson says a wild card would be more likely than winning the division. No, that doesn't get you the division. That just gets you the wild card. That's just to make the playoffs. There is a 20 if the Jags lose out, just between those two teams. There are other situations that have to come to pass for the Titans to surpass Jacksonville in that way. But if the Titans win out and the Jags lose out, there is a 26% chance that they would host the wild card game as the division leader.
Now put this in your little calculator.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Titans win out. Jags, Texans, Colts all lose out. Just for argument's sake.
Okay, well, then you're going to have to stall because now this is going to take some time as I go through and look at the weeks and select all these things.
I will look at who the Texans and Colts play down the stretch. The Texans host or are here on Sunday. They host Cleveland. They play the Titans again, and then they got to go to Indy. So I guess that technically would be impossible for both Texans and Colts to lose out because they play each other in the final week of the regular season. The Texans are here. They host Cleveland. They host the Titans, and they go to Indianapolis. Now, the Colts' final 4 games of the season are at home against Pittsburgh, on Saturday, this Saturday afternoon, in Atlanta, at home against Vegas, and then at home against Houston.
Who do the Texans play in Week 17? Oh, I've got them. It's the Titans. Okay, that was my mistake. All right. So Week 18 is the thing where not all of them can lose out, obviously, because they both play divisional
give me
opponents.
a tie. Can you give me a tie?
I can't give you a tie. That's the one thing that this thing is not capable of doing. That it would break the internet if this thing was capable of giving me ties. So let's do it this way. If the Texans, Colts, and Jags lose out 3 of the next 4, the Jags lose out the rest of the season, and the Colts beat the Texans, the Titans have a 52% chance to make the postseason.
That's it. That's the ticket.
If the Texans win that game, in that scenario,
the Colts game.
Yes. The Titans win the division.
That's it. Okay. All right. There it is. Titans need to win out. Jags need to lose out. Colts need to lose out. The Texans need to lose every game moving forward except the Colts game in the final week of the regular season. That's it.
Voila.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Unless you lose this weekend to probably Davis Mills and the Houston Texans without half their defense, and then your playoffs are done. That would mathematically eliminate you.
Here is a list of teams that Titans fans should be ferociously rooting against in the coming weeks in the NFL. Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Houston, Denver, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, the New York Jets. That's it. You are anti all of those teams, Titans fans, for the next 4 weeks. Unless you lose on Sunday, then none of it matters. Or if you lose at any point in the next 4 weeks.
Just to completely eliminate the last 15 minutes of us talking, if you lose on Sunday, all of it is void. All of it is void. I mean, I get it. You want a better draft pick. You want the best players on the roster possible. Will Levis needs as much help as humanly possible. So the idea of winning out just to make the playoffs and, theoretically facing the Baltimore Ravens on the road does not sound like an enjoyable experience necessarily. Although it would be crazy. It would be crazy. And I'm not putting anything past the National Football League because Week 14 was just stupid. Week 14 is one of those weeks, and there's probably 3 or 4 every season, maybe 3, closer to 3 than 4. But there's 3 or 4 weeks every NFL season where it just makes me look around and question everything that I thought I knew about the sport. Like all the time that we've spent talking about these games, all the things that quantifiably to be so, but from 5 weeks into the season to 10 weeks into the season to 15 weeks into the season, all of it to be washed away because the Dolphins starting center gets knocked out. Tua is having troubles with the quarterback center exchange, and the Titans bleep around win a football game on Monday night.
Bert has texted us. He said, now do if the Titans win, but Steelers and Colts lose out.
I'm not going to do that.
Percentage chance.
I'm not going to do that. Nor do I take requests from Robert Walsh like we're a damn jukebox.
You don't get him those Crocs for Christmas. I swear.
Did you, I don't know that I sent you the Instagram story that my buddy Teron Davenport sent me earlier today where it's just it's a video of a person getting ready to gift a Christmas gift to a coworker. And I want to make sure that I read the caption appropriately here. Okay, there it is. There's some music in the background. Point of view. You giving your coworker their Christmas gift, you reach into the bag that's very nicely wrapped. You've got some tissue. Is it tissue paper? What is that called?
Sure.
Tissue paper. You reach into the bag downwards, and then you pull your fist back in the bag and then proceed to punch the coworker in the face. That is how I plan on giving Robert Walsh his Crocs that he continues to literally pepper me with links to.
And that is our weekly Internet on the Radio segment.
That was tough.
Okay, so rooting guide to the Titans' playoff chances. We should do this once a week. As long as the Titans win, we should do this every Wednesday.
Oh, my God.
So, Buck, on Thursday Night Football, Chargers and Raiders, who should the Titans be rooting for?
The Raiders.
On Saturday, Vikings in Cincinnati, who should the Titans be rooting for?
The Vikings.
Yes. On Saturday, Pittsburgh in Indy. Who should the Titans be rooting for?
The Steelers.
On Saturday, Denver in Detroit. Who should the Titans be rooting for?
Denver and Detroit. Detroit.
Yes. Jets and Dolphins on Sunday.
Miami.
Bears and Browns on Sunday.
Chicago.
Yes. Chiefs and Patriots. The Chiefs aren't a part of this. Ravens, Jags on Sunday night.
Ravens.
There it is. That's your rooting guide.
Was that good radio?
For week 15. Better than you trying to describe an Instagram story. Yeah. I don't know if it was good, but it was better than that.
The bar is low. Anyway, speaking of all kinds of weird stuff in football, it was a weird week 14. 5 different division leaders lost a game. So who is actually the best team in the sport? We'll talk about it coming up next.